Well, hi everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Sunday. So therefore, it's Soul Sunday time. For those of you who are not regulars, let me just explain. We do 3 broadcasts a week. The first one is Friday lunchtime, Pacific time, where we do the skills, the learning segment broadcast. Then on Friday evenings, we do the laughing, well, at least smiling at least, but laughing broadcast. And then today, on Sundays, we do our Soul Sunday broadcast. And the reason I do it like that is because if we never stop learning, and if we never stop smiling, and if we never stop being mindful, then we will be happy. Hi, Jody. Hi, Nana. So today, what I wanted to do for Soul Sunday is I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that we've got a number of our viewers who are not um, doing too well at the moment in various ways. And I just want to get up my list here because um, so that I don't forget who and what. First of all, funnily enough, I know this will probably surprise some of you. First of all, I want to give out some thoughts and prayers for the U.S. president. He was rushed to the hospital in the last 24 hours. And even though they're busy saying that he went for a part of a medical, hi, Erin, that he went for a part of a medical, I am not 100% sure that that was true. Hi, Marie. And so I just want to start by wishing him my thoughts and prayers in the hope that everything is okay. The next one, of course, is Jody, who has a biopsy tomorrow. And so obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to her. Nana, you and your eyes. I know that you've got some cataract issues going on. So thoughts and prayers and hope that the new glasses work for you. I wanted to give thoughts and prayers to Nyasha's mom. Nyasha's mom had a throat surgery done. And I also want to give thoughts and prayers out to Nyasha because she's been given lots of responsibility that she doesn't normally have. To Beth, who I know is struggling with overload at the moment. You know, Beth is what you can only call a trooper. All right. She suffers from MS and yet probably works harder than, somebody half her age and without MS. And so I just wanted to give out thoughts and prayers for her today. Both Kerry and Marie are struggling with sleep issues. And so my thoughts and prayers go out. And by the way, Kerry said that ZQuil, Z's and then Quill, like NyQuil, works really well. So for any of you who've got that, my mum used to swear by taking gravel, these seasick tablets. She used those instead of sleeping tablets, and they worked really well. I'm not sure what's in them, but you may want to check with your pharmacy whether there's anything in there that would be contra to anything you're taking at the moment. But that's a pretty easy way to go if you're having a sleep issue and don't want to take drugs, regular drugs. So all of my quotes today on this Soul Sunday are about health and wellness. And by the way, for those of you who rolled your eyes maybe about Jody and her intermittent fasting that she taught us, I just wanted to make a note that it actually was a whole segment on CNN yesterday. And I just laughed and I went, been there, done that. And by the way, Jody, I'd like to let you know 12, 13, 14. Yep, that I will have finished a 16-hour fast. No, more. 17-hour fast by the time I finished the broadcast, not intentionally. But I actually cooked myself some oats for breakfast, and I got so busy doing other things I clean forgot to eat them. So this is a healthy thing. All right, here we go. So hear these quotes in whatever way you need to. Okay, Nana's saying about her. Oh, and Erin, of course, with her ongoing issues. Gosh, sorry. Yeah, Erin is saying she's. Oh gosh. Yeah. Do you want me to actually literally talk about that out loud, Erin, or just give me a a Y or an N. Yeah, so take it easy. I'm just waiting for the. I've got a feeling that probably Erin wouldn't want me to necessarily discuss that for everybody in the world to hear, but I will wait for her Y or N on that one. All right, in the meantime, let me go to the quotes. It was said that she made broken look beautiful and strong look invincible. She walked with the universe on her shoulders and made it look like a pair of wings. I think that would describe Jody. I think it would describe Erin. I think it would describe Beth. That amazing what they cope with in the way that they do. All right, sorry, I'm just seeing that Nana said here that she gets the second new pair of glasses this week. Okay, best of luck for that one. Yeah. Glenn Schweitzer said, behind every chronic illness is just a person trying to find their way in the world. We want to find love and be loved and be happy just like you. We want to be successful and do something that matters. We're just dealing with unwanted limitations in our hero's journey. Hi, Kerry. Good to see you. I just to let you know that part of this broadcast is dedicated to you. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. Tiptoe if you must, but take a step. Take a step to be happy. Take a step to detract your mind away from what's going on. Okay, so Erin's just given me the okay, and she didn't give me a Y or an N. She gave me a full sentence. Way to go, Erin! For those of you who don't know, Erin, it's not easy for Erin to even type because of her limitations, and that's why I say just give me a Y or an N. And what does she do? She gives me a full sentence. All right. So what Erin said, can I add to that list? I've got a significant UTI, that's a internal infection of the kidneys. Actually, it's a urinary tract infection, to be quite honest. I'm just going to stay here this time and be on the oral antibiotic, but I do not know. The infections are pretty hard. The injections probably are pretty hard on my body and my liver. Yes, I remember that from previous issues for you, Erin. I think that the autocorrect put in infection instead of injection. So I corrected that. I hope I was correct in doing that. I do try and copy read for for certain things. So best of luck for you, Erin, because I know there have been a couple of times where you've ended up with bigger problems because of the medication that they gave you. This was an unknown quote. I fight for my health every day in ways that most people don't understand. I'm not lazy. I'm a warrior. And we've got a few of those who are regular viewers. And I applaud you and you are my inspiration every day. Courage does not always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Thomas Edison said, when you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this, you haven't. That is such a true quote. Wasn't it over 3,000 ways that he tried to make the electric light bulb work? How many people would have said, for goodness sake, Tom, give it up. I wonder how many people said that to him. Just give it up. You're not going to get there. You, you've already tried 1,000 times. For goodness sake, man, give it up. And then when he got to 2,000 times, probably wasn't advertising it too much. But it took him over 3,000 different ways of trying to get it to work. And you know what he said each time? I found another way that it doesn't work, which limits the number of ways I need to try until it does. And so, I look at all that Jody has done to lose weight. I look at all, that Beth has done to try and balance her food intake with her incredible energy output. And I look at it and I go, we all keep trying step by step. I have no idea how I managed to have my blood sugar under control to the most part over this incredibly stressful week and have my weight just skyrocket. To me, that's, I'm going to be talking to my doctor about it, because it's like, how is that even possible? If I were eating bad stuff, my blood sugar would have shown it. And yet I kept my blood sugar under control and still managed to do this. I just don't understand how that's possible. But I do know, as you can probably see, that I'm swollen and I'm doing all the things I can to reduce that. So, maybe I'm not normal, am I? Erin said, she meant infection. Okay, so let me reread it. I'm just going to stay here this time and on oral antibiotic, but I do not know. Infections are pretty hard on my body and my liver. Thank you, Erin. Got it. All right. Thank you for helping me there. I knew that. Oh, it was. That's exactly what she said. She meant infection. My bad. So, all right. So the problem is, because some of those medicines I take, just bring down her immune system. So her main system will stop fighting. It's very difficult. I just can't pace it all. But Erin, big hugs. Oh no, gentle hugs. A. Milne said, promise me you'll always remember. You're braver than you believe, and you're stronger than you seem, and you're smarter than you think. Even though you're not well, all those things are true. Dale Carnegie said, most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have had to keep on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Think about that. I'm going to say that again. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who've kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. I wonder how many people thought Stephen Hawking. Hi there, Ali. I wonder how many people thought Stephen Hawking would, even make it past 20. I wonder how many people imagined that he, with all the disabilities that he had, would turn out to be such a great physicist. I mean, unbelievable physicist. And you see, I just think about his life and go, wow, he really did do the best, and he still does, do the best he possibly could, with what he was left with. And I think that is something that we all need to think about. Don't think about what you're losing. Think about, what you can still do with what you have. As I've said, I've always spent my life going, if I couldn't hear anymore, how would I continue my work that I love to do? If I cannot see anymore, how would I do it? If I couldn't walk anymore, how would I do it? If I couldn't, if I had rheumatoid arthritis and couldn't type anymore, how would I do it? I'm always asking myself those questions because I really have a mission, and I do not wish life to get in the way of that. Wonder if that makes sense, anybody? I don't want to have to say, well, I had to stop because I couldn't see anymore, or I had to stop because I couldn't hear anymore, or I had to stop because, whatever. And so, I challenge you all to think about that. Don't think about, even with your illnesses, don't think about what you can't do. Continue to think about what you can. Christopher Reeve, who we know, was Superman, was riding a horse, broke his neck, and ended up paralyzed from the neck down. He said, when the unthinkable happens, the lighthouse is hope. Once we choose hope, everything is possible. Steve Chase said, you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why you can and be one of the exceptions. Sidney J. Harris said, regret for the things we have done will be tempered by time. It is regret for the things that we did not do that is inconsolable. If any of you have ever read that article, there was a nurse, palliative care nurse. And hi, Jamie, good to see you. And what she did was she literally went around and asked everybody that was in the process of dying, what did they regret most? Or not what do they wish they had done that they didn't? And it was really interesting. None of them said, I wish I'd made more money. None of them said, all the things I wish I'd had a bigger house. They all wish they'd had laughed more. They wish they'd worried less. They wish they'd played more, those sort of things. Spent more time with the children and then with the grandchildren. Those things were the things that they missed. Thomas Edison said, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. And I know some of you who are listeners do that every day. You try just one more time. And sometimes that's easier for you than others because it must be extremely difficult to try when you are in a great deal of pain, both emotionally and physically. I know because I've been there and I've done both of those, both emotionally and physically. So I know how difficult it is to keep going. One of the things I always said to people was, I was so lucky. I was so lucky that I never let go of hope. And even, at my worst times, I can remember saying to myself, you may be scared, you may be this, you may be that, but please don't give up hope, Sal. Whatever you do, do not give up hope. And I think it saved my life, quite honestly. And I wouldn't be here talking to you today if I had. Erin's saying, I like that lighthouse quote. My mum loved lighthouses for that very reason. She saw them as lights of hope in the darkness. Absolutely. Let me go back and... All right, the Christopher Reeve quote. Jody, can you make a note so I can send it to Erin, or get you to send it to her? So she can keep it, maybe as, on the front of her tablet or something, so she sees it every day. And Christian D. Lawson said, believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. And this next one, I think, I'm sorry to laugh, but I think it describes me in some way. And I'm not 100% sure why, but that's what my voice is saying. This is you, Sal. So, okay, this is by Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh, or however you wish to pronounce it. Normality is a paved road. It is comfortable to walk on, but no flowers grow on it. You see, I think some of you are ill and struggle with sicknesses because that is your uniqueness. You get to inspire others by what you are able to do with what it is that you have. And that makes you so incredibly unique. And you certainly are that unique to me, because none of you, in my view, is normal. Thank goodness. My sort of people are not normal. How many of you agree, right? My people are not normal. When I say my people, if I look at my friends as well, in real life, as well as here on Dear Mama Sal, I don't think many of them are I don't think any of them is normal. It's like they're all a bit, different in different ways. And that's what I love about them. They don't follow the path of everybody else. They are very unique in the way they live their life. Vince Lombardi, the famous football coach, said, the measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. Isn't that amazing? And it was said that hope begins in the dark. The stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and watch and work. You don't give up. I know some of you believe in miracles, and I just want to acknowledge something that happened to me this week. As you know, I have had a challenging relationship with my sister. And she heard about what happened with my recent house sale. It collapsed literally with 30 hours to go. It was all done except for the deposit, and I had been absolutely assured there wasn't any problem with the money, and it turned out that there was. And so luckily I live in reality, and I kept saying to everybody, it's not done yet. And everybody's saying, yeah, but she's got the money, so it's done. I'm going, no, It's not done yet. It'll be done when I see a copy of the bank draft that says the deposit is there. That's when it's done. And I'm so glad I worked in that reality because although, my eyes nearly bounced off my computer screen, I was like a deer in the headlights. And I know some of you probably were as well. But the reason I want to say that is out of the blue. I let my brother and my sister know that, that had happened. And out of the blue, my sister wrote to me and said, I know that this has been a terrible struggle for you and a long one. And I wonder if you are in need of any financial support. I don't know about you, but that was quite a shock to me. And I wrote back and told her that the answer was no at the moment. I had managed to make enough plans that I was coping. But if it became necessary, I really appreciated knowing I had a plan B, actually C or D, standing by. Isn't that amazing, right? I was very genuinely blessed in that moment. Timber Hawkeye said, you can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. And Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And I really must say that I agree with that, all right? I really am so grateful for the time. I'm sorry to laugh. Wait a minute. I just got to read for the people who are listening to this on the replay. I just I just want to read out what Erin put here. Erin said, what? Are you sure this is actually your sister and not somebody who was abducted by aliens? No, you know something, Erin? My sister has a very kind heart. I got to say that. My issue with my sister has never been about her kindness. My sister has always been about her need to control. And so, but I love you for that. Thank you for making me cry with laughter here. That was so cute. Yeah, don't ever forget if you know, even when you're not well, you can make someone laugh. That is a good thing. Thank you, Erin. I'm not sure who said this. I don't have a reference to give you, but it was said that you are strong when you know your weaknesses. You are beautiful when you appreciate your flaws. And you are wise when you learn from your mistakes. Beautiful, right? And Josh Ship said, you either get bitter or you get better. It's that simple. You either take that which has been dealt to you and allow it to make you a better person, or you allow it to tear you down. The choice does not belong to fate. It belongs to you. And the truth is, we're all a little broken. We must learn to love the broken pieces of ourselves, to be gentle and empathetic to ourselves and to others. I keep thinking how weird it is. Ah, this is Beth going, be cautious. Some hateful people love it when others have issues. They sneak in with a kind gesture. just to allow themselves a bit of control again. I do know that, Beth, but thank you for reminding me. And Beth, this broadcast is was partially dedicated to you, just so you know. It's not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and to make happiness your priority. And it was said, live to inspire. And one day, people will say, because of you, I didn't give up. I think all of you have had that effect on other people. I've got to say that. I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the lines, at least one person has said, I was going to give up, but then I remembered Jody. Or I was going to give up, and then I remembered Leslie, for those of you who remembered Leslie. I was going to give up, and then I often say, but then I remember Aaron. I was going to give up, but then I was going to stay in bed today, but then I remembered Beth. You know, when you think of these things, because of you, I didn't give up. Because of all of you, I didn't give up. I've got to say that. There have been a number of times over the last few years where I was going to give up. And then because of you, I didn't. Thank you for that. Hope doesn't require a massive chain where heavy links of logic hold it together. A thin wire will do, just strong enough to get us through the night until the wind dies down. Okay, Aaron is saying, I think I'm my father's daughter. I think so too. And that way, making people laugh makes me feel better. All right. I'm having a problem with the next part of that sentence, Aaron. Oh, all right. Wait a minute. I think laughter beats crying. Because of you, Janet. Did you hear that, Miss Aaron? Okay, I'm not quite sure what that bit's about, so Aaron will let me know. All right. Beth, she's saying, my new store manager said my old manager warned her about me. She told her that sometimes she won't talk and she will ignore you. I told her that is because I believe in myself and refuse to allow someone else to make me feel bad about myself. And I will not go into that drama. So I just shut up and do my job. Yes. You know, the old story, it takes two to cause drama. And, I think you're doing a great job of learning that you do not need drama in your life anymore. I must say, Beth, that from my personal experience, when I chose to let go of the drama and just refuse to do the things that created it, I think learning that I created my own drama by the people I associated with, by the way I was trying to, you know, fix everybody, whatever. When I realized I was creating my own drama, it was a great change in my life, and I'm very grateful. Yes, Beth is saying you can't change how they think, right? No, and they have the right to think whatever they want to. I really found it interesting that, as much as you all know how I feel about President Trump, that when I heard that he'd been rushed to hospital for a routine check up. Yeah, right. Um, but was got he's home back home in the White House again, of course. But when I heard that, I must admit, it didn't change the fact that I didn't like his administration, but I must say that I it doesn't override the fact that I felt sadness for him, and wished him well in his physical and mental, whatever's going on. Yeah, it's interesting, uh, Beth, that you're saying they thought that you were, a solid yes, ma'am sort of person. Um, yeah, I think protecting yourself is the greatest gift to yourself, don't you, Beth? And also, I remember saying, Beth, a long, long, long time ago, the greatest inspiration I had to get into management was to seeing how many idiots got there. You know what I mean? Going, if they can get into management, then it's a no-brainer that I will get there. And you know what? I did, and I got there way ahead of a lot of other people who had very long qualifications, after their names. And I just never, never let that stop me. Right, Beth. And you keep that in front of your mirror, right? You stick that in your car and you stick it on your mirror at home. I have a life too. I can't work 7 days a week. Actually, you can, and you have, but you choose not to, all right? Because you value yourself. How many of you would agree with this one? Nothing is more beautiful than a real smile that has struggled through tears, right? A real smile that has struggled through tears. I think quite a few of you know what that one's about. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. And if you cannot walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I don't waste a lot of time these days saying, well, I used to be able to, do that. I am now going, I need to improve my core strength because getting out of bed is beginning to be a problem. And I think about how I want to know how Lauren does that. You know, it's like she hasn't got. She told us a story this week, that I know that she's not going to worry about my telling, but she was doing some crafting and she was doing a scrapbook page that required, and she wanted to put a bow on it. Now, how many of you are going, so? Well, Lauren doesn't have use of her legs. And because of that, she has never worn shoes. Therefore, she has never needed to learn how to tie up her shoes. Lauren did not know how to tie a bow because she has never had reason to do it. And I don't know about you, Jody, but that sort of was a double take for me. I just literally went, wow. How many of us take tying a bow for granted? And in that moment when she told me that, um, part of me just went, wow, I would never have thought of that. Yeah, Jody was there as well. She said, yes, that was a moment. Yeah. Beth is saying my job is very physical, so I set my limitations on lifting. She doesn't like that, but I told her. I, she doesn't like it that I told her that, but I simply stated a fact. Yeah, absolutely, Beth. I simply can't lift 50 pounds of dog food when I weigh 107 pounds. It's not physically possible. I mean, duh. Well, in fact, you might want to, what I would do with your store manager. Find out how much she weighs surreptitiously, on the side, find out how much she weighs, and then stack up the number of dog food bags it takes to be half her weight. And then say to her, look, I understand that you probably don't believe me, but I've now stacked up half of your weight in dog food bags. Could you show me how you do it? Get it, Beth? Because you obviously know at some core level that it is possible. So here you go. Show me how you do it, how you lift half your weight. I want to tell you, Beth, that the fact you are 30 years older than her, yeah, I agree with you. I want to tell you that so often people say to me, gosh, I can't believe you do that. And you are twice my age. And I go, yeah. But I really do believe, Beth, that the your age is not so much a factor because you and I both know that an age limit is one we put on ourselves. I assure you that what we do at our age. I'm trying to imagine my mom doing what I do when she was my age. Okay, that is funny again, Erin. All right, for those of you who know I was a bit confused by something Erin said, listen to her reply. I'm sorry about that earlier, because that's what's happened when I'm trying to speak into your phone and into her phone, and the nurse comes to comfort you because she needs to give me medicine, and she starts talking, and the phone's picking up what she's saying. It just recorded everything she said. Well, that's amazing. You made me laugh twice today, Erin. Well done. Erin to Sal 0. That is so cute. No wonder I was confused, Erin. I feel so much better. I was feeling really not like a good person because I couldn't work it out what you were saying. Duh. Stephen Jabolski said, so this is my life, and I want you to know that I am both happy and sad. I am still trying to figure out how that could be. How many of you feel that? That you're just trying to live your life. And your life is both healthy and not so healthy. Maybe your mind is has moments of clarity and then moments of mental illness, all right? Maybe your body has moments without pain and then moments with severe pain. But so this is my life is not a bad mantra to get up to every day. Oh, that aches. Yes. So this is my life. Are you going to do something about it, i.e., take some medication that will help it hurt less? Or are you going to go to the doctor and talk about it? But quite honestly, this is your life, and it's up to you to do something about it or not. Michael J. Fox, the actor who got Parkinson's, said, I often say now, I don't have any choice whether or not I have Parkinson's. But surrounding that non choice are a million other choices that I can make. Makes sense? He cannot help having Parkinson's. That's a done deal. But he can do so many other things. He just can't get rid of the Parkinson's. And I think Christopher Reeve was another person who said, okay, I can't walk anymore. I can't, fly over, tall buildings and do the things I used to do, but I can still talk. And I can use my voice in a way that will make a difference. And I may depend on other people to make sure I've got oxygen in the tank so I can breathe. But as long as I can breathe and I can talk, I can make a difference. And he did. If opening your eyes or getting out of bed or holding a spoon or combing your hair is the daunting Mount Everest you climb today, that is okay. And that was my moment today when I woke up and I'm going, for some reason, my body doesn't want to give me the momentum to get out of bed. So I'd be really interested from people like Jody and um, Lauren and those of you who, through different reasons, have difficulty getting out of bed. I'm certain you guys have got lots of tricks on how you build your core strength so that you can do that. And how many of you who are sick agree on this one? Resting is not laziness, it's medicine. One of the things I am really making sure with all the stress that's going on in my life, one of the things that I'm really making sure is that I am working hard at making sure I get enough sleep. Because I know the effect that this is having on my body. I need enough sleep. The amazing thing is I'm not smoking. I don't know who said this one, but how about this one? Don't forget that you are human. It's okay to have a meltdown. Just don't unpack and live there. Cry it out and then refocus on where you choose to be headed. Marie is saying, I'm making some good progress on my papers today. I've finished up 2 papers now, and I'm working on my biggest research paper. I'm hoping to get to the gym for 45 minutes and take some time tomorrow. Okay, and then to take some time for me. I think going to the gym for 45 minutes is taking some time for you, Marie, and I am delighted. I am certain going to the gym for 45 minutes will also help your sleep because it helps get all the toxins, out of your body. Some days are better and some days are worse. Look for the blessing instead of the curse. Be positive, stay strong, and get enough rest. You can't do it all, but you can do your best. I'm going to read that again. I think that's so pretty. Some days are better and some days are worse. Look for the blessing instead of the curse. Be positive and stay strong and get enough rest. You can't do it all, but you can do your best. Yeah, Erin is saying that Michael J. Fox is such an inspiration in the way that he has handled his Parkinson's. I always thought so as well, Erin, of Muhammad Ali. The way he handled Parkinson's was amazing. If you ever watched any of the interviews that he did, and my favorite interview of all of his life, was when he was being interviewed by Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes. And, he was busy, talking and shaking and doing all the things that Parkinson's, do. And out of nowhere, he threw a left-right punch at Mike Wallace. It was just like a left and then a right uppercut, and it was just like, if anybody ever saw that interview, you will know how amazingly funny it was. It was like, Mike Wallace was getting so caught up in how um how affected Muhammad Ali was by his Parkinson's. And obviously, somewhere, Muhammad Ali felt that he needed to brighten Mike Wallace up a bit. And the best way for him to wake him up was to shock him. And boy, did he shock him. I, I want to tell you, I'm pretty sure that Mike Wallace probably needed new underwear when that happened. Because if you could have seen I wonder, did anybody here ever see that? And I wonder even if it's on YouTube. Mike Wallace interviewing Muhammad Ali. Anyway, I want to tell you something. It always is a vision that I have. I have that picture in my mind that, like Aaron, just because he was physically challenged did not mean he lost his sense of humor. And so, yes, Aaron, I agree. Michael J. Fox has always been an inspiration in the way he's dealt with his illnesses, right? Imagine having Parkinson's and still being an actor for so long, that he managed to hide the majority of his Parkinson's and still act for as long as he did. I thought it was wonderful. Jody's saying, Sal, I'm certain we can give you some info on building your core strength and tips on how to make it easier to get out of bed. Right, good. All right, thank you. Beth is saying, Christmas update. I'm done with the gifts. Well done. I'm so proud of you. I was a last minute shopper for years. Big weight lifted off with the little planning and getting it done. I want to tell you, I have a couple more things that I still have to get. And for those of you who understand Murphy's Law, I actually said on Saturday, I am going to sit down with my silhouette machine, and which is my sort of die cutting machine, and I want to make some Christmas cards, and I'm going to spend the day just being creative. And I sat down and I plugged in the silhouette machine. It's like a Cricut. And I plugged it in. And then I could not get into the program. You know why? Because the program was sitting on the hard drive that I dropped. Now you'd think that's not a problem, Sal, just download it. Well, I tried to download it, and of course it wants to update what it knows. I've already got one, so it's trying just to upload it. And where does it want to upload it to? The D drive that I no longer have. So I was thinking, I put that into my brain. How many of you understand this one? And just went, there's a simple answer to this. What is it? And, I let my librarian think about that for a couple of days. And then suddenly, I think I was in the washroom because I seem to get a lot of good ideas there. When suddenly I went, I need to uninstall that program. Whatever's left of that program in my computer, my spare computer, I need to uninstall it. And then it won't be able to find that I've already got it. And then it'll have to reinstall it. Does that make sense? So that I will be doing that early in the week. I've got a showing tomorrow, so it'll probably be on Tuesday. But if I can get it done, I'll do it tomorrow. And of course, the problem is that I can't even do it on this computer because this is a loaner. It doesn't belong to me. But any minute now, if I get delayed anymore, if by Wednesday I haven't been able to get the other one working, I'm going to need to upload it onto this one just so I can use my machine. But congratulations on getting your gifts done. I don't know who said this, but they said, I can't tell you when, but I can promise you it will get better. It will get easier, and it will all be worthwhile. Just promise me you will never give up. You see, I think that when we can hold on to hope, then there is always reason to get up in the morning if we can. It may get difficult, right? For some reason, that is for me, but I can do that. And I'm wondering, whether all that's going on physically for me perhaps is something else that I'm not aware of yet. And so, I'm sort of taking notes on this. So when I go to the doctor, I'm going to go, well, just need to tell you that this happened to my weight. And at the same time, I noticed that I'm struggling to get, um, does that add up to anything other than I am obese, All right. Erin says, my dad always used to say something like that, quote, whenever I was not doing well. I wanted to smack him for it sometimes, but he obviously was right. Hi there, Nyasha. We actually have dedicated part of this broadcast to you and your mum, just so that you know. Kirsten Butler said, the strongest people I have met have not been given an easy life. They've learned to create strength and happiness from dark places. Hannah Brenshaw said, maybe life isn't about avoiding the bruises. Maybe it's about collecting the scars to prove that we showed up for it. You see, Nyasha, it is a pleasure. Nyasha, may I tell you a story about learning? Would that be okay with you? I just want to. Okay. So Nyasha wrote to me earlier in the week and thanked me for the way in which I teach. She thanked me because she said, when I talk about things, I talk in pictures and she understands the pictures, be it drinking the poison of hatred and revenge or whatever, or dropping um, anger as a grain of sand into your big beach of who you really are, and she said she really appreciated that because it made it so easy for her to understand. And she said to me, I've always been a slow learner, so it is wonderful that I can understand these things. And I said to her, I actually don't think that she is a slow learner. It's not been my experience of her. What I said to her was, does she understand that people learn in different ways? And some of you who are viewers, you learn by reading. You actually will open up a gadget of some sort and you will read the instructions before you even unpack it. You undo the box and you get hold of the instructions and you read it. You're also the people who, when you open the box, you actually count all the bits that they say are meant to be there. You know, you are incredible people. Now, I don't fall into that particular box. My box is open up the box, get the thing out, put it together, and only if it doesn't go together well do I read the instructions. I wonder if anybody else is in my box. And there have been a couple of things in my life that I have opened up and built, and then it wasn't quite right, but it was good enough. So I didn't undo it in order to put it together the right way. So, I also have had things where I try to put it together and I look at the pictures and you're going, sometimes the pictures are a lot better indication than the words because somebody who has English as a second language, you know, um, doesn't talk the same language that I do sometimes. I don't know if you've ever found that, where you're reading the instructions and you're going, why did I bother? Reading the instructions needs its own instruction manual. Oh, Jody is saying she only reads the instructions after the oops. The point that I wanted to make is that imagine that you have lived your life thinking you were stupid because you couldn't learn by reading. Ah, hi, Kez. Good to see you there. Kez is saying, when I did a course, the teacher gave us a, a learning style quiz, and I learned I'm a visual learner. And a couple of years later, I did an organizing quiz. Yeah, you know something? It is really important to know that if you're a visual learner. Now, let me tell you that you know you're a visual learner if somebody gave you a computer and you just went and just kept playing with it until you found out how it worked. If you went into the days of Microsoft, Excel, where you just played with it until you understood how it worked. Because I really want you to let Nyasha know that those of us who are visual learners, we tidy up differently. We do the wash differently, right? So I think it is wonderful. All right. So Nyasha's saying, in my country, which is Trinidad and Tobago, in my country, no one takes the time to teach this way. I'm talking, she says, about educators. And it is unfortunate. I passed through the ones that didn't. Hello, Jean. Good to see you. All right, amazing who comes out of the woodwork on this topic, right? I learn best by watching others do what I want to do, especially cooking and food. Yes, how many of you have found that YouTube videos have been your saving grace? All right. I don't want to read the instruction manual. I want to see how that works. Right? Kes is saying about the computer the same. You know, I kept pressing the wrong button instead of, what I found? I found that I learned by error. I cannot tell you how many times I've hit a combination of keys on my keyboard and it did something I really wanted it to do. I don't know if any of you have ever done that. Did something I really wanted it to do, and I'm going, how did I do that? And then I will spend an hour trying to recreate that combination. It must have been Control Shift, backspace, sun coming up in the east. I don't know, but it must have been. And there've been times when I never did find what that combo was, and I'm going, rats. How do you like this one? Please be patient with me. Sometimes when I'm quiet, it's because I need to figure myself out. It's not because I don't want to talk. Sometimes there are no words for my thoughts. How many of you can feel that? I have to agree that sometimes I just need to get it out of the routine of talking. Sometimes I just need to go away and be. Those you love will go through hard times. Don't give up on them. They are patience, caring, and empathy equals love. Okay? Patience, caring, and empathy equal love. Niasha's saying she especially likes do-it-yourself tutorials. That's where I learned how to knit and crochet. Others ask me, where did you learn that? Who taught you? And I say, YouTube did. I want to agree with you. I think the greatest gift we gave the world is YouTube. There will be people around the world who will learn how to do things because of YouTube that would never in their normal life have had an opportunity to learn how to do it. Jean, you're not the only one that does the silent prayer thing for everybody. I know many of my viewers do, and I certainly do, right? There's Jean saying that silent prayer is good. Every night, my husband and I pray for many people, right? I want to tell you that I believe that our thoughts and prayers that we do on Dear Mama Sal, I genuinely believe that they have helped a lot of people. I wouldn't do it otherwise, which is why I have dedicated this whole broadcast to anybody who happens to not be well at the moment. Ernest Hemingway said, "We are stronger in places we have been broken." Kelly Hemingway said, "Sometimes you will be in control of your illness, and other times you will sink into despair. And that's okay. Freak out, forgive yourself, and try again tomorrow." And I'm not sure who said this, but I don't want my pain and struggle to make me a victim. I want my battle to make me someone else's hero. And, I want to say this that, when I think about Jody going for her biopsy tomorrow, she had every reason not to be here today and to help us. But that's not Jody, right? Um, I think about Nana with her eyes. She has every reason not to be here because she can't probably read the type as well. Or Erin with all her pain. Or, I could go down the list. But the truth is, you all choose to be here. And not only do you choose to be here, that you choose to find laughter in such a difficult topic. At any given moment, you have the power to say, "This is not how my story is going to end." Wow. At any given moment, you have the power to say, "This is not how my story is going to end." You know, one of the most amazing things I find about Jody, and she has so many of them. And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. She's the one that makes me look organized. Jody, with all that is going on and having a biopsy tomorrow, is and the weather, in her neck of the woods, she lives in New Hampshire. You all know that they've had a horrible cold front that came in. With all that going on, she is planning to go visit her in-laws for Thanksgiving. You see, to me, that is unbelievable courage, unbelievable hope, and unbelievable everything. That is Jody in a nutshell. Doesn't spend a whole lot of time. I want to tell you, she probably is not necessarily that happy that I'm busy talking about her so much. But the thing is, with all that's going on in her life at the moment, she is now going to go and make her in laws feel better. And she was even saying to me, she was wondering how she was going to get um, the dog and everything else into the car. Now you have to understand they don't have a car anymore. So I don't know where they've managed to borrow a car. But the truth is, even that was something that needed to be arranged. So, amazing. Jean saying, my 5-year-old grandson, Oliver, lives in Austin, Texas. Recently, he was finally seen by a doctor who has placed him on the autism spectrum. Now he may be able to get the help that he needs. Yay. I am happy for the fact that he is going to get the help. Well, you know, I would like to say that let me ask you this. What is it you would have us pray for? I think it is wonderful that he has been, you know, put on a diagnosis or given a diagnosis that will get him help. So let me understand what it is that you would have us pray for. His understanding of his illness. Help me. I'm not trying to be awkward. I am trying to understand what it is you would like. When Jody, can you remind me to add him to the list? Yes, isn't that wonderful that his mother has been fighting, to get doctors to listen to her and never gave up. And now they're listening at last. It's taken 5 years. Wow, that's amazing. I am so happy for you. Napoleon Hill, who I spent a lot of time reading, and when I was in my 20s, he said, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. And so I look at Jean's grandson and go, all that you guys have been struggling with over these last 5 years now are going to hopefully get him the help he needs. And I'm certain each and every one of you would say, thank goodness we didn't give up. Thank goodness we continued until somebody listened. And I know that it is frustrating that nobody listened before now. Believe me, I've been there. But somebody did now. And now he's going to get different treatment. That's awesome. All right, so now this is from Joe Rogan. He said, what would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. All right, so here you are. If you imagined that you actually are watching the movie of your life, and I'm thinking about Jody. We're watching the movie. We're down in Heartland Hills or Snowflake City or whatever it is that we're watching, and you're watching the lady in the movie about to go for a biopsy. In your best directing mode, what would you have her do for the rest of Sunday? And what would you have her do knowing that she is going to have a biopsy and she may need to wait, 4 or 5 days to get the answer? In fact, that answer might even come while she's busy. Is that next week? Let me see. Hang on a second. Or is that farther away? No, you'll be able to hear it before you go away. Okay, fine. So I would imagine that. I would visualize that. All right. And just see how you would have that play out in your movie of your life. I think it's a wonderful way to do it, don't you? Again, I don't know who said this, but they said maybe it's not always about trying to fix something that is broken. Maybe it's about starting over and creating something better. It's interesting, isn't it? Maybe it's not about trying to fix it. As I've said, if this is as good as it gets, what am I going to do to be happy? I say that to myself a lot. If I've said that about health issues, I've said it about Um, I've got a bit. Oh, that's what it is. I've said it about health issues. I've said it about um, physical issues. It's just like, if this is as good as it gets, how am I going to be happy? Sometimes I look, if I ended up in a place no bigger than my bedroom, how would I manage with all the things I want to do with my life? I give myself those challenges. Now, is that normal? Probably not. But it does keep me balanced about I can do this. I'd have to get rid of a lot of things, but I could do this if I really had to. And somebody said, I don't know who, somebody said, don't believe the things you tell yourself when you are sad and alone. By the way, do we need to be sad and alone some of the time? You see, I believe it's okay because I believe that if we are sad and alone, we probably will cry. And if we cry, that is not altogether a bad thing. It helps get rid of some of the emotion. And so give yourself time to be sad and alone. But here's the other thing. If you're spending more time being sad and alone than you are being creative, or than you are helping others, or than you are going shopping, if you spend your life being sad and alone, I think that's called depression. And I would not wish that for any of you, having been there myself. It was said by somebody we don't know who, the reason why people give up so fast is because they tend to look at how far they still have to go instead of how far they have gotten. Yeah? Isn't that the truth? Helen Keller, who we know was blind and had every reason to give up on her life the way that she was during the war years, said this. She said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. You see, so much of our ability to cope is about our attitude. I wonder how many of you could live Erin's life. How many of you who are not in a wheelchair could live Lauren's life? How many of you could have kept your self-esteem going if you ended up with, bloating up, uh, with lymphedema the way that Jody did after she had just beaten cancer? It was like, hello, didn't I already just beat cancer? How can I have this now? But you see, she didn't give up. She kept on getting better and kept dealing with the reality and then doing what she could about that reality. I found out, thanks to Jody, that, you know, there is a way to cut your carbs and still have carrot cake. you know, you all know that there's part of me that really should have been an inventor, right? Because I'm always looking for a different way. And I really fancy carrot cake. I love the taste of carrot cake, but I know that that's a lot of carbs. So what I did was I got a carrot cake mix, and then I put equal quantities of carrot cake mix and almond flour and threw in an egg and a little bit of milk, and whipped it up and then made it into cookies. And I want to tell you something. Oh, by the way, I wanted to have frosting on it. But, I knew that frosting wasn't good, right? So you know what I did? I took cream cheese and I put in a teaspoon of vanilla frosting. And I've got a picture here somewhere, so I thought I'd just show you. But in other words, it wasn't that I couldn't have it. What can I do so that I can? Does that make sense? Have I got it there? Hang on a second. Yeah, there we go. And if you can see it on the side here, whoops, all right, I made it almost flat. Oops, don't do that. Come on. I made it almost flat so that it was cookie-like. And you can see I've got that cream cheese and with just a little bit of icing in it, just smeared over the top. It's not thick, it's just smeared over the top, and it's amazing. It tastes, I want to tell you something, it tastes a bit like gingerbread. And it was just enough. I had these 2 pieces, and it was just enough for what I wanted. Inesh is saying, I listen to these quotes each broadcast. But I'd like to know, do individuals live their lives through these quotes? What I mean is, can I write these down and do what they say throughout your life? You bet you can. All right. And Jean is saying, when you stand alone on your principles, you may be called brave. It is never easy to stand all alone. I want to tell you something, Jean. There have been so many times in my life where I have stood up for what I believed was right and suffered greatly because of it. But never, ever did I really suffer greatly because I knew what I did was right. Even if it punished me for that, if life in its own way punished me for it, if people I thought were my friends didn't like me for it, I stood up for what I believed was right. And quite honestly, I agree, it can be a very lonely time. But you know something? When I looked in the mirror, I went, you did what was right. It's okay. One day they might even realize that you did what was right. They will probably never tell you that, but it's okay. You see, if you don't stand up for what you believe, then what will you fall for? And so the reason that I wanted all of you to be aware of that you are not alone in your illness, in your pain, be that mental or physical. You are not alone. We are all here to support you. And so you may feel that you don't contribute to Dear Mama Sal because of your illness or whatever. I want to tell you, it is the fact that you are all struggling with whatever it is that your life has given you that makes this Dear Mama Sal. You see, I didn't want to run Dear Mama Sal for a group of people who thought they knew everything. I didn't want to start Dear Mama Sal for a group of people who were incredibly healthy, physically or mentally. I wanted to run Dear Mama Sal because I know people needed it. We have 4 months and 26 days until Easter. You have just 122 days until spring. Yes! And for those of you who are counting it down, as I am, 111 days until the clocks go forward or back if you happen to be in the southern hemisphere, like Lauren. For the romantics, you have 2 months and 28 days until Valentine's Day. Don't say I didn't warn you. For those of you unlike Beth who have not finished your Christmas shopping, please know you have 37 days left. That's all. For the Americans, you have 10 days, 21 hours, 27 minutes, and 22 seconds until Thanksgiving. For those of you who understand about Mercury being in retrograde, it comes back to us on the 20th. All things will go well on the 20th onwards for a while. And please remember to put your overseas cards and presents in the mail by the end of the month at the latest. It's creeping up very quickly. Nyasha's saying, okay, thank you. Because my intention with the coming year, 2020, I'll be 35 years old. I'm now seeing myself as somebody who should have some sort of wisdom. I want to tell you something. Please do not use the word should. Should is a guilt word. You're saying that I am going to be 35 and I don't have wisdom. That's what you're missing. I want to tell you, I don't believe I had wisdom at 35. I'm actually amazed that people think I have wisdom now, to be honest. Yeah. I think we all do the best we can, Yasha. And I think you've been doing a wonderful job. Yeah, I can only gauge you in the time that you've been with us here on Dear Mama Sal. And I want to tell you that I am amazed at what you have managed to achieve. And I have also been amazed at the way that your life is shifting just a little bit because your attitude is shifting. And that is amazing. I want to tell you that each of you in your own way has given me incredible strength and the will to carry on doing things when things have been difficult. And I thank you for that. And I hope that each of you in your own way has felt the love and support and kindness of the various viewers of Dear Mama Sal. Because I don't believe that we can do it alone. I believe each of us deserves to have people on their cheerleading team, on their support team. And so, whether it's Jody going for her biopsy tomorrow, or Nana going for cataract surgery, or for her eyes, whatever it is that you're going for, remember to let us know so that we can give you the support you deserve. Beth, keep doing what you know is right for you. And by the way, if you want to send us what it is that hubby Charles has been eating, that he lost 40 pounds in 1 month, was it strict keto or how did he do it? All right, so this is interesting. Beth is saying, should have, could have, would have. Yeah, it's just afterthought. We all have them, but it's how you let them affect you. I really keep saying, yeah, but what am I going to do about it now? That you cannot change what is past. You cannot if you've got an illness, you cannot necessarily change that. What you can change is how you deal with it. And so kudos to you all, and thank you for being an inspiration to so many. Thank you for a wonderful week, and thank you for supporting me when my world hit another hurdle this week. It is so good to know that so many of you genuinely care about one another. And that to me is the greatest gift that you could give me and them. Look after one another as we do, but please start by making sure you look after yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal wishing you a wonderful week in health of every sort, a wonderful week of joy, a wonderful week of understanding and being able to live in reality. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, bye-bye for now.